As the world violently shakes, I am teleported into an underground cave where the only light to guide me is a dim blue light from a mysterious object. If survival games have taught me anything, get wood first, ask questions later. I make some torches so I can see what this cave has to offer. A strange stone statue appears, and I see some mushrooms almost as big as me. This is how every Core Keeper playthrough starts. You are teleported into a procedurally generated world where you survive by eating fish smoothies, killing enemies, and beating bosses to progress. It is much like Terraria with a big focus on bosses, gatekeeping progression. Here are the 3 rules that I gave myself for this playthrough. 1. The game must be played on hard. 2. The only intentional damage allowed is physical range damage. 3. I can only use buff pets, no damage dealing pets. Also, there is no day-night cycle for Core Keeper, so every 10 minutes passed would be classified as a day. Although I have played the game before, I've never beaten it. I've only ever beaten up to this boss. Everything after that point is a new experience for me. First time beating the game, it can't be that hard with ranged weapons, right? Let's see how 100 days of a Core Keeper Ranger goes. Meet my first enemy, myself. Why am I punching this wall with my bare hands when I can build a wooden pickaxe? Because I'm playing hard, and I'm hard. I'm tough. LEGO's Lost then makes the most astute observation that even a monkey digging for bugs is discovered. Tools make life easier. I break into my first cave system, and there, my second enemy meets me. A mushroom man who charges me like a murderous minotaur. I killed him, and then scalped him to eat him later. Early game is generally about exploring as much as possible to find boxes and chests with loot in them. However, if an ore vein of copper is whispering sweet nothings into my ear like this, how can I turn down this temptation? I found a nice little campfire which made a nice first outpost. I like to set up a permanent base at spawn, and I'll explain why later. I make a workbench, furnaces, and start smelting my copper ore. I then craft some wooden bridges for quick traversal over water and chasms. After I collect some of my copper bars, I create a salvage and repair station. This is one of the most important crafting stations. Salvaging takes items that you would normally throw away and breaks them down into a portion of their crafting materials. There are going to be a lot of items that will be salvaged because I can only use ranger weapons. The repair and reinforce features is what makes this station so great. As you use tools, weapons, and armor, it will degrade, eventually causing it to break. Repairing it allows you to keep using these tools. And for a little extra resources, reinforced tools have a longer lifespan and also increased power. I tried to reinforce my bow and didn't have enough wood because I made too many bridges. To cope with that pain, I manslaughtered these mushroom men. Manslaughter? Mushroom slaughter? Mushman slaughter? I don't know. One of those. I collected more copper ore, smelted more copper ore, collected wood, and made my first boo-boo. If you ask me though, he was trying to kill himself. From boxes, I found a seed pouch, a ranger's tunic, and a miner backpack. The ranger's tunic gives me some nice starting stats, and the miner backpack gives me some more storage space. The seed pouch gives me extra storage, but only for plants and seeds. I crafted a copper workbench, which allows me to create copper tools in a variety of new stations. I was able to reinforce my wooden bow and my new copper pickaxe and copper shovel. The shovel is useful for digging up blocks and treasures from these X's on the ground. On my second day, I discovered this meadowland area where loot boxes abound and cute tameable animals enjoy life in peace. I leveled up in mining and running, which gave me a 2% mining damage and a 0.5% movement speed buff. As you do things, you will gain experience in that specific field. Every 5 levels in that field, you'll be able to invest a skill point into that skill tree. Most all skills are simple stat increases, so I'm not going to be mentioning every time that I level up in one of these fields. I discovered the Forgotten Ruins, which is too high of an area for me, so I chose to wall it off and explore other places. I dug up a Heartberry necklace, which gave me a passive health regeneration. Then, I set up the outpost again, smelted some more copper, and started cooking some food because I was famished. Different food combinations give different bonuses. Mushrooms are a nice base that give a small health regeneration and food restoration. The 3 plants that make up the starting area are the Bomb Pepper, the Glow Tulip, and the Heartberry. Bomb Peppers give speed, Glow Tulips give mana regeneration and a blue glow around you, and the Heartberries give it max HP buff. Food buffs are incredibly important, and I'm not going to be mentioning every time I'm eating for them, but the buffs will appear under my health bar. I equipped the Swift Feather, which is an offhand item that carried me to late game. It gives a small dash which makes boss fights much easier. While exploring, I discovered a Golden Heartberry. Golden plants give better stats and hidden unique stats once cooked. They are rare and I'll be able to grow them in the late game, but for now, this is my only one. Next, I discovered the Clay Caves, which is the next area of progression and where I find my next ore, tin. This is a copper boulder. There are boulders for all ore types and they require stationary mining drills and electricity to extract their ore. I'll be back for you, baby boulder. I started to build out a home base. It's pretty ugly and I didn't make it prettier at any point. I am more disgusted with myself than you are. I promise. I made a generator that runs on hopes and dreams, and an egg incubator so I could hatch my lively egg. Day 4 started with me committing Mama Mush slaughter. It took a while. When she died, she dropped some pants that somehow fit me. I discovered a locked door with a musical note on the front, and next to it I found an iron boulder which I walled off. I found an iron fishing rod in a chest which I happily made space for. I set off to find Glurch, got distracted and decided to fish instead. And fish some more, and more. My search for Glurch was complete. I killed his baby so he knows I'm coming for him, and I found his waypoint. This is the reason for setting up a main base as spawn. Almost every boss has a waypoint near the origin of the boss's spawn. This allows you to teleport to it from any waypoint, which makes travel so much easier. Day 6 I made a table saw and let it make some planks. Then I went to fight Glurch. Just kidding, I went exploring instead. The following day I got an Alex and leveled her up, then I named her Phoebix. Phoebix gives me stat bonuses which will help with the upcoming boss fight. Speaking of, here it is. No, for real this time. Promise. Glurch has a simple attack pattern to bring you to the House of Pain. Jump around. When he gets low, he screams and starts to attack much faster. Once defeated, he blows up and releases a nice old man in a chest with loot. I take this opportunity to collect some slime from the boss arena before heading back home. Once home, I start building a room for my new friend to live in. Then I build him a place to sleep and finally give it his personal touch. Then I take Glurch's eye and put it into the statue of him. This unlocks 3 recipes, a sword that I can't use, and 2 world scans for the next bosses. The second boss that I will need to defeat is Gorm the Devourer. With a name like that, you best believe he chonky. I open another egg, but this time I can't use it because this dog bites, dealing damage to enemies. So I sold him. Day 9, I grabbed my first cattle, a goat. He got distracted and ate a mushroom. Then I put him in his cage and proceeded to rematch with my first enemy. Even though I saw him eat the mushroom, for some reason I thought he wanted to eat bugs. When I walked back to my base, my mass mush manslaughter came back to bite me. I dispatched them faster than a piggy with some donuts. It was a big donut. Then I removed their spawn blocks so they wouldn't invade my turf. I named my goat something regal. Then I got him a friend who I had to save from certain death. Even though I already killed the Mushman, he got revenge by eating some mushrooms. I named him Countula. Then I started a small farm on some turf blocks. I planted bomb pepper seeds and glow tulip seeds and watered them. As I left those to grow, I went to unlock a music door by serenading it. Unable to resist my beautiful song, it opened, revealing the perfect ring for a ranger, giving me a 17.3% range damage boost. I went to the clay caves to collect some tin, and while there, I killed some larvae which dropped larva meat. Delicious! Day 12, Chonky Boy interrupted my fishing. And then I fished, and fished some more. Friday the 13th, I discovered a go-kart track, which I did not delight in. Instead, I just broke some loot boxes. Day 14 was lost to the editing process. A moment of silence for day 14. I'm pretty sure I just gathered tin. I serenaded another music door. The loot wasn't very good. I set up my first stationary tin drills on the iron boulder. Boulders contain 1800 ore, so safe to say that this will be drilling for a while. It's just a nice way to get some passive ore income while I explore. I descended a slippery slope of serenation. I found an insanely strong staff that I couldn't use, and I stared at it in disappointment. But at least I found my first scarlet bars. The day after, I explored the Forgotten Ruins a little bit, and Big Chonk said hi. I collected more ore. There's a lot of ore collection in this game. It always feels like you don't have enough. This is why it's nice to have drill setups on boulders. There are only 2 types of stationary drills, tin and scarlet. Scarlet ore isn't unlocked until the next 2 bosses are defeated, and the scarlet drills are not even worth using in short playthroughs, just because they're so expensive. Open your heart to me. 3 tanky boys try to tango with me. Unimpressive loot again. Next to Trump's wall, I found a giant mushroom. This will permanently boost my max HP when I eat it, but only once. I hit the wall. It was super ineffective. Day 19, I spent a long time clearing out the area around this tin boulder so that I could set up another drilling operation. It's pretty scary as the range guys can 2-tap me. One by one I kill them all, and then I remove their spawn blocks. Then I wall off this other big group, and then I set up the drills. Back home, I terraform next to my base to set up my farm on some turf blocks. You can grow plants on dirt, I just like the look of the turf. I hunted down more turf blocks across the map because I didn't have enough. I finished up placing all my turf and tilled the ground. Then I planted and watered all my seeds. The sun rose in my first harvest. As I collect my seeds, I make sure to level up gardening, as this gives me a greater chance to get seeds for my harvest. I also have an iron hoe and watering can now, so this goes much faster. I set up another drilling operation on the copper boulder next to my tin one. The following day, I started to cook en masse, which will give me constant food buffs and I'll never have to worry about starving again. After a long trek, I discovered this maze which had enemies and loot in it. I had a close call and it was taking so long to clear it that it bled into the next day. I finished clearing out the maze and had way too much loot, so I teleported home and got ready for my next boss fight. I started the fight with Mr. Chonker. This was a pretty easy fight as I already had reinforced iron armor and an iron bow. When he died, I cut his stomach open and fashioned a bag out of it. Pretty metal. He also gave me some meat and also some rude decor. Afterwards, I made sure to hunt down his waypoint so that I could teleport to it later if I needed to. Back at home, I took his horn to put on a statue. This unlocked a club, a ranged weapon, and recall idols. I didn't build the ranged weapon as it wouldn't outdamage my current bow, but the recall idols would be a big help. This allows me to teleport back home from anywhere. I made a room to put my new room decor and was rewarded with a new friend. He sold summoning idols, which allows you to summon bosses at their arena. I did not make good use of this, although I definitely should have later to farm slime by killing Lurch again and again. I found the structure that houses the next boss and proceeded to clear it of the enemies while I looked for the waypoint. At the end of the next day, I found the waypoint. The rest of the next day, I cleared out the arena so that I had room to fight the boss. After I prepared myself, I built a scarlet workbench from all the scarlet bars I got from chests. Then I built a scarlet pickaxe. I ate all my food buffs and started the boss fight. This fight is very annoying. Malagaz just napalms the floor and shoots fireballs at you. Then, just when you've defeated him, you didn't, and he's big mad and ready to Mike Tyson you. It's pretty easy though, as long as you make sure he punches where it won't block you in. Because the fight went so well, I decided to kill him again the next day. Then I put his heart in the statue, which unlocked only one thing I cared about. The Ancient Hologram Pod. This allows me to make the next scanners for the next set of bosses. I scanned for the next boss, Azos, then I spoke to the core who yapped to me about killing Azos. You seem like a very murderous chunk of rock, don't think I'm not onto you. In preparation for Scarlet Ore, I made some kilns which will allow me to smelt it. Then I brought down Trump's wall. As the day started, I stepped into Azos Wilderness. As I make my way towards Azos Waypoint, I'm looking for Scarlet Ore and boxes so that I can get more Scarlet Ore. I found a friend that sold fishing stuff. I sold him all my values to free up some space, and then I left him to fish on his dock. Day 35 was lost to editing. Another moment of silence, please. All I did was collect ore and continue towards the waypoint. Day 36, I found the waypoint. Day 37, I found my forever pet. I fed her until she was a big strong level 4, and then I waited to name her until inspiration struck. Then I made a scarlet crossbow and I made a giant shiny egg. I then punched the roof open over my crops with my new tool. I don't know if this does anything, but I like the natural light. Then I made some greater healing potions and some keen potions that buff my range damage by 30% for 1 minute. Inspiration finally struck and I named my pet a cute demure name. Rest in peace footage for day 39. All I did was prep for Azos. This boss fight is the first boss fight where you feel stressed. You have to dodge lightning, while also destroying crystals that he spawns in. Otherwise they will heal him up to full HP. I also made a mistake by not bridging over this chasm, so that was a big annoyance. After a few more rotations of dodging and breaking the crystals, I defeated him. Upon defeat, I absorbed his soul, which gave me the power to spawn lightning on melee crits. Wow, thank you, that's so useful. Back home, I made a room for my fisher friend and bought his necklace and ring to increase my fishing power. Day 42, I discovered the Sunken Sea and discovered the Pupaia. This fruit, when cooked, will increase my range damage. I collected some coral wood, which is a new type of wood needed for progression, and I collected some octarine ore. I discovered this boating house which had an octarine fishing rod. One of the docks had a boat, which saved me a lot of time grinding for materials. With that discovery, the world was my oyster. Back home, I dug up some of my plantation to put sand blocks down so that I could grow my pupaias. I also discovered this trowel, which made planting peachy. Because the Sunken Sea was so far, I decided to tunnel to it. While tunneling, I stumbled upon the lair of a boss. While I was there, I fished in some acid. And with zero prep, I thought, I have a scarlet crossbow and iron armor. No way I died to a side character of a boss. I died. After my pride was vanquished, I decided to stop with the tomfoolery, make like Jerry, and enjoy some cheese. And this is how that went. After my success, I made some iridium sprinklers. Wait, wrong game, my bad. I made some scarlet sprinklers, and although this looks like I carefully planned my farm size, I was just very lucky. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough materials, so I had to water the rest by hand. Afterwards, I continued my tunnel to the sea. When I arrived, I got into the water and started fishing. While exploring, I found this structure and I found this chest that had a lot of keen potions, which always come in handy. Day 49, I found the Shimmering Frontier, which is this blue wall. I don't quite understand how it's generated in the world, but I believe there's just splotches of it in the higher level areas. It was too difficult to enter, and as I was searching for an opening that wasn't guarded by radioactive crystals, I got domed in the head by a jellyfish. I found a small entrance and used bombs to mine some of this new ore, and collected a new wood type. I also grabbed the seashell on the way out, which I will need in order to build the next boss scanner. Then I watched Turbo munch on some delicious wall, which allowed me to explore some more. Day 50, I found some dude's house where he was storing his valuables. I stole them, but left him his gold bar so he knows I didn't do it for the money. I did it to send him a message. Finally, I hit the seashell jackpot, which made me feel like Silly Sally by the seashore selling her stockpiled seashells to seahorses on a sunny Sunday. With all the seashells, I was able to sail for the next boss, Omeroth, the Sea Titan. This was the first boss that I hadn't fought in my other games, so I had no idea what to expect. With all the little whirlpools, my gamer senses were tingling, and I thought that it was probably smart if I made myself some walkways so that I didn't have to fight him in my slow boat. I realized from my last failed boss fight that I was going to need some better armor, so I spent the day gathering scarlet ore so that by day 55 I could make octarine armor. Oh, and I also finished up my farming rings, which gave me the opportunity to get twice the amount of plants from a harvest. Day 56, I fished up Omeroth, and I was feeling very proud that I figured out the whirlpool thing. Bro started big bad wolfing me and huffing and puffing. Then he sent his tentacles after me. One of his tornadoes hit me and I realized that I had to be a lot safer, which was hard since the tornadoes tugged you into them. As the tentacles popped up, they would destroy my walkways, and it was getting increasingly difficult to avoid whirlpools, rebuild bridges, and deal damage. Eventually, I crumbled under the pressure. To be more precise, I got pancaked by the pressure. With that failure, I decided there's only one move here that doesn't involve me grinding for 3 hours to get the better boat: bring land to the Sea Titan. So I placed a lot of blocks. I also put little walls up at the edge so that no jellyfish throwing tentacles hit me while I was in the middle of a boss fight. Day 58 is only shown if you subscribe, break into my home, and steal my hard drive. Don't forget the subscribe part, I need those. All I did this day was prepare some food so that I could have my rematch. With so much room to work with, the fight was going so much better. And although the tentacle still made holes in my floor, it wasn't nearly as catastrophic as it was before. I know you see that tentacle. This is a 1v1. Get yourself somewhere else. As the fight kept going on, I was worried about two things. The floor was starting to get crazy, and my durability on my bow was dropping a lot quicker than I would have liked. Thankfully, with the prep that I had done, Omeroth was no match. And I absorbed his soul, which gave me a 3% chance on a ranged hit to spawn a tornado. Thankfully, a useful soul. Day 61, I discovered the Desert of Beginnings, which gave me the next upgrade, Galaxite Ore. The following day, I found this desert temple thing, which was filled with traps and loot. I spent another day in the temple, and it was honestly such monotonous work that I had to take a break and do some fishing. I finally found the inner sanctum and cleared out all the traps. I looted this item, and because it said a gift worthy of a young prince, I decided to hold on to it until I met that young prince. As you can see from my inventory, I got a lot of treasure from this expedition. Back into the daylight, I fought this assassin who was guarding these little red fossils. I needed these fossils so that I could make the next boss gainer. The next day, I found an oasis which had a new type of animal, and it also had a desert ruby and a jungle emerald. These two items are very important later. In the oasis, there was an entrance to a Shimmering Frontier, but because my inventory was already full, I decided to just kill some enemies and leave it alone. Back home, I sold my loot and was Scrooge McDucking happy. I placed crazy amounts of ore into my galaxy forges, and then I placed all 12 of my locked galaxite chests down like a peacock flexing its feathers. I opened them and received the Nomad Ring, which increased my damage, the Nomad Necklace, which increased my critical hit damage, and in the very last chest, I found the holy grail of items, the Bomb Scarab Mortar. This gave me ranged boom booms. With my new mortar, I Oregon trailed it to the Shimmering Frontier. Once there, I started grinding for Solarite ore. I found a Solarite boulder and an Obliteration Ray, which would be a key item later to progress. The following day, I found another boulder and decided to clear out the enemies here. Then bro used hacks and shot me through a wall. I was so angry. I came back to set up some drills on the first boulder I found, and then I got my sweet revenge. Day 70, I finally grew golden crops. My chance to get golden crops was very low at this point, so I was being so conservative with eating any golden food. In order to get to the desert, I had to pass through Azos Wilderness. While there, I collected some ore. I didn't think he'd mind. He was already dead. Day 72, I found this huge fossil, which is literally bigger than any creature I've seen, other than maybe the Sea Titan, and I prayed that I wouldn't have to fight anything close to that size. I also stumbled upon this food item that gave me a permanent health bonus. However, it also gave me immunity to burning for a minute, which I thought might come in handy later since I'd be facing off against a desert boss. With that in the back of my mind, numero uno enemy struck again, because I don't think I ate it at all. I spent the day clearing out my inventory, smelting ores, and selling loot. The next day, I opened this Galaxite chest, which had throwing daggers. Because of the high attack rate and critical hit chance, I used this weapon a lot versus other bosses. Then, I started preparing for my next boss fight by collecting Solarite ore and fishing for the Splendid Deep Stalker to boost my attack speed. I did the same thing the next day so I wouldn't have to come back for a while. With the combined power of the Splendid Deep Stalker and the Golden Pupayas, I made these rare Splendid fruit smoothies. Which sounds delicious, but when you think about it, fish and fruit blended together? Nah. I'ma pass on that. If you thought that sounded good though, you'll like the next thing I ate. Amber larva. Tasty. At least it gave me 50 max HP. I finally captured some Stroly-Polies, which were a key cattle that I should have grabbed much earlier. I set them in my farm and I made a huge mistake. Let's see if you can spot it. That's right. I didn't name them. I also didn't name them for the entirety of my playthrough. My fault, guys. Let's make it right and name them now. Thing 1 is Polly the Purple People Eater, and Thing 2 is Wormy. I watched this wild Stroly-Poly eat a bug and I waited for him to poop. He didn't. You're probably like, why are you waiting for him to poop on this beautiful cavey day? Well, when Strolley-Polies eat, they drop Strolley-Poly plates, which I need a lot of to make my next armor. So on day 78, I cleared out any area that had Strolley-Polies and bounced between the wild Strolley-Polies and my domesticated ones. After my hard work, I had 12 plates and I needed 6 more to finish off my final armor for this run. Now this is where the Jungle Emeralds and Desert Ruby comes in handy. In this case, it's neither, it's the Ocean Sapphire, but this station allows you to upgrade weapons, armors, and equipment. The lower the level the gear is, the lower the cost requirement is. The Emeralds, Rubies, and Sapphires are only used to upgrade high level equipment and really take your power to the next level. While I was waiting for the final Strolley plates, I decided to try to finally pinpoint where this desert boss was. I took 2 daggers to the face and almost died from my efforts. Day 81, I found the final 2 red fossils I needed to find the Desert Titan. Before my next boss fight, I finally was able to drip out. Mozilla was so close to leveling up that I decided to go kill some easy enemies. If you're wondering, what's up with the Halloween outfits on the enemies? Well, my recording time bled into a Halloween update, which, to my knowledge, only changes cosmetics and decorations. Day 84, I started the boss fight versus Raakar, as I did with all the other bosses. Eat more food than Joey Chestnut. He shook the ground at me and shot triangles of death at me. He also summoned his friends, which I feel like is cheating. If I'm not allowed to use summons, we should have a gentleman's agreement. After some careful maneuvering, aka running in circles, I finally got him low enough to kill, and as I'm throwing my final daggers at him, I sidestep the ground eruption. Straight into an explosion that deals 1220 damage. Yeah, I died. Again. Woke up, brand new day. Alright, that's not happening again. I upgrade my daggers and I go back for round 2. This time, with a better understanding of his attack patterns and with the upgraded damage, I was doing so much better. Then, I was right back where I was yesterday. Low HP, eager to kill him. But this time, I bided my time, didn't get overexcited, and I finished the job. Then I plopped my gravestone on top of his. This was crucial BM, and incredibly necessary for my pride's recovery. I absorbed his soul, which gave me a 5% chance to spawn my own triangle to attack enemies. Then I took his giant bug brain, and with it, made the next crafting table. This crafting table gave me the next set of items to kill the next set of bosses. These next bosses watched Footloose, but became villains because of it. They hate the sound of this music. I know it says the sound it plays is perfectly tuned to attract a beast, but does this look like attracting? Bro ate it, and now he's mad at me for playing the tune? Anyways, back on day 86. I needed radioactive crystals to build the scanners, so I spent the entire day shooting my energy beam at them to destroy them. And yes, I tried blowing them up, which is usually how I solve problems in this game, but I needed to use the obliteration ray. Now that I had full armor, I tried exploring the passage. My anxiety was high because I had no idea how much damage these things did, but seeing as the last enemy I fought did 1,220 damage to me, I didn't want to find out. Oh no. Oh heck no. I do not rock with that. Get me out. Back to peaceful fishing. Don't judge me, but I needed the day to decompress. On day 88, I sensed the Footloose hater. Stop running away. Come back, you coward. While chasing after him, I found a big cicada and killed it. Nothing good came from a big bug. I finally realized he wasn't running away from me, he was just on a travel path. With that knowledge, I decided to head home and get my gear in a good spot while I waited for him to come back. Day 89, I upgraded more stuff before my fight. The next day, I dropped the boom box and quickly cleared out an area to have our dance off. The next 3 bosses all have the same basic attack patterns. They shoot this destructive ray at you, they drop pillars on you, then they suck you in for some kind of attack. I don't know what the suck did, I did not want to find out. I almost found out because I destroyed the pillars because I was thinking, hey, I can't shoot him as easily, dummy. Food buff came in clutch though and gave me a 6% dodge chance. Then he decided to spawn a little hungry caterpillar, and he thought he would catch me slacking, but my damage went crazy. Once a shield goes down, they get knocked to the ground, and this is when you do the actual damage to their health bar. Because when they get back up, they're going to regen their shield. Now that I got this attack pattern down, the rest of the fight was simple enough. I hid behind his walls this time and dodged a cheeky little bite he tried to take and put in some work getting him down to half HP. Then down to a quarter, and finally took him down for good. Dang, that was easy. Taking down Druidra gave me a 10% health boost, and he was even nice enough to give me the Hydro Tooth. This went in my offhand, and I finally retired my Swift Feather. You were a good friend. The next day, I decided to drill more boulders. I was very confident that I was going to need a lot of ore to set up more drills on Solarite boulders to continue upgrading my equipment. This time, I set up 8 drills as I wanted the drilling process to go much faster. After that, I started to look for a suitable arena for the next boss fight. I needed enough land that I could run away from the Death Laser. I found the perfect spot and started destroying all the walls in the way. I noticed a vulnerable chest all alone and I decided to pounce on it. It was well worth it as I got 9 greater healing potions and 10 keen potions. Now I can have keen potions active for 62 minutes straight. On day 94, I maxed out my gardening skill, which gave me thorns damage and lots of golden plants. Actually Humphrey, thorns damage is not range damage. Bro, you already watched the video for this long. Just keep watching. I pulled out the beatbox again to summon the next boss. Nope, not that one. Yep, him. This one brought a ghastly friend. I couldn't damage him, but he could damage me. So now, instead of 1 death beam, I had 2 chasing me. The fight really wasn't that hard. Uh-oh, I'm dead. Again. I guess I'll cook up before we rematch. This time the fight was actually easy. With the increased movement speed of Golden Food, avoiding all of his attacks was a breeze. Then game bugs tried to ruin my life. Nothing some healing potions won't fix. I'm warning you, back off. About to pop a stock pot, some butter, and some Old Bay out on your legs. The rest of the fight went down without a hitch, and then the Ice Titan accepted death by slithering straight to me. When I absorbed Krydra's soul, it gave me a 10% armor increase. Day 99, I collected more Solarite ore and did some light fishing to prepare for the next Titan. Next, I upgraded and then I went to a previous boss arena because I figured, well, it's already cleared out, so why not? Pyrdra summoned 2 scaly spirits to defeat me. Not today, mister. Again? The same thing? Alright, let's try again. But safer. Well, the walls didn't work. Let's just hide and shoot wherever the boss icon is on my minimap. And that's what I did, while occasionally dodging the laser beams. Yeah, it took a while, but I did vanquish him, which gave me the last soul. A 10% damage boost. Then I talked to the core about my great deeds and he sent me to the birthplace of this being. I found it. That's a big crystal. What do you mean, no room? Oh. If the town ain't big enough for the both of us, it ain't me that's moving. Yep, stop with the big lasers. And triangles of death. Ouch! Finally, first round down. Stop sleeping on the job and fight me like a man. next round, easy. I am doing insane damage. For this last round, the commander summoned tornadoes. I wonder where I saw this before. He's not very original. Round done. What am I aiming at here? Seriously. Okay, I guess we're back on this. Too easy. Oh, he's back. Now he pulls out the original moves. Ouch. This time I sat right next to him so I could do max damage. Just because I do range damage doesn't mean I need to be at range. I'm on him point blank executioner style. I tried to split the damage between the spheres so I spent less time dodging the energy balls. Dead in 2 cycles. You are soft. After I collected the loot, I packed up and went back to talk to his friend that set me up. He gave me the end of the story and the credits, so that was the final boss. Or was it? If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. I had a lot of fun working on this video and I'm excited to do another run like this. So if you'd like to see another challenge run like this, subscribe and leave a comment below on which one I should do next. Thank you for watching. Here's a quote to inspire you for the rest of your week. Courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point. C.S. Lewis.